See, what does the question says?
Using power rule, 2x minus 1 squared is the numerator, and then it's all over square root of x.
I think you're trying to ask me that yesterday. I didn't answer you yesterday. Um, so hold on. Let me see if I can restart my iPad. iPad's not picking up signal.
Well, I got like, yeah, I got, I think I got. I think it said it had like 12. Yeah, but I knew that was 12.
All right, so really last questions, right? So can you tell me what's the question? Yeah.
It's f of x and then 2x minus 1 parentheses square over radical x.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna turn on here. Got it. Um. So this question is something to do with today's lesson. Um. But I'll start by covering this one, and we're gonna mention this again. Is to even today's lesson we're gonna talk about product rule and quotient rule, and this is not a place you should use quotient rule, even though it looks like quotient rule. So this is a case that you almost want to stick with owning power rule. The reason being is the bottom is one term. If it bottoms one term, you can always split up to do a power rule rather than quotient rule. Because quotient rule is going to get very, very disgusting on certain type of problem. And I would probably avoid at all costs. So if I do this square root x, I'll just expand the top, which is 4x squared plus 4x minus plus 1. So this is minus, sorry. I will do this. And then I will split them. And I will simplify using the quotient rule, which is using the exponent rule. And that's going to be 4x to the 3 over 2 minus 4x to the 1/2 plus x to the negative 1/2. Does everybody understand what's going on? If you don't understand, let me know. Raise your hand. So if you don't understand, raise your hand. Let me know what's going on. I didn't do any calculus yet. I just drew a simple, very simple rule. Any questions? This question will be on the test for sure, 100%. Because I already put it 2 days in a row on the homework. Armin already asked me yesterday. I didn't answer his question yesterday, but I didn't answer. I'm gonna answer today. But you gotta make sure you know this because those are the easiest one to take a derivative. It just problem looks kind of hard. Any question about algebra? Yes. So the reason why I'm still writing down f of x here, because I haven't taken derivative yet. So that's gonna give you 4 times 3 over 2 times x to the 1/2 minus 4 times 1/2 times x to the negative 1/2 minus half x to the negative 3 over 2. So that's equal to 6x to the 1/2 minus 2 over x to the 1/2. That becomes the bottom minus 1 over 2 x to the 3 over 2. And that should be your final answer here. Any questions?
It's 1 over 2x to the power of 3 over 2.
Yep. That's perfect right there. I didn't do any fancy rule except power rule. Yes.
You want to just leave
I like the exponent this way, but you should be able to evaluate if x is equal to 4. So 4 to the 3 over 2 power, 4 to the 1/2 power. You should be able to evaluate those.
Simplify the two twos, or
Into the what?
like, never mind.
I mean, I don't need to oversimplify. A lot of time, like you just simplify enough, you can plug in a number. The whole goal is finding derivative so you can find a slope at particular place. And yes, good handwriting like that does help on your calculus work. Not like this, but like that on the board. She has probably the. She doesn't have the best handwriting I ever had though. Who does? I have a girl went to Duke. She's from Ukraine, and she's handwriting is like probably the best I've ever seen.
Who wrote that?
That's Gabby Stifler. What? She's what? She does. Yeah, Fiona told me you should take notes. Literally. Any other question for homework? Shh. Any other question for homework? No other questions? What does D says?
2 square root of x minus 3 squared.
2 square root x. What?
All squared. And then over x squared.
Yeah, so this is the same thing. This is bottom's one term, even though it looks like two term, but they are multiplying together, so it's one term. Basically this one is x root x equal to x to 1/2. That means x to the 3 over 2. So this one's x to the 3 over 2. And this one is gonna be 4x minus 12 root x, which is x to the 1/2. And minus 9 plus 9, sorry. So that's equal to 4x to the negative 1/2 if we split them, minus I believe that's 12 x to the negative 1 plus 9x to the 3 over 2 negative. Is that okay? Is this okay? I'm gonna take a derivative
You get 12x.
because 12x to the 1/2 minus x to the 3 over 2. So 1/2 minus 3 over 2 is 12x to the negative 1. So that's gonna be negative 2x to the negative 3 over 2. Is that okay? Plus 12x to the negative 2 minus 27 over 2 x to the negative 5 over 2. And if you really want, you can put an x to the 3 over 2 like this, plus 12 over x squared minus 27 over 2 x to the 5 over 3, 5 a second. Yes?
Would you prefer us to leave it to x to the power 2, or do you want to do it like x times square root?
I prefer rational exponent just because the whole goal is to be able to, let's say, if I want to find out, f prime before, then it'll be negative 2, 4 to the 3 over 2. Long as you can figure out what 4 to the 3 over 2 is, and plus 12, and now this one's going to be 16 minus 27 over 2 to the 4 to the 5th over 2 power. So if you know those rational exponent, it's fine. It doesn't really matter if you change to radical. Unless the multiple choice require you to do that one.
4 to the radical, 4 to the power of 3 over 2 is 16.
Mm-mm.
Oh, wait, no, never mind. Sorry.
It's 8. Any other questions for homework? It's kind of hot with me. It's warming, right? Yes, Jenny.
Can you go over B, the last B?
What is that?
Y x minus
2 cosine of x.
minus root of 2.
Okay, so when you take a derivative of root x like this, it's same thing as taking derivative 2x. Take a derivative of 2x is 2. And take a derivative of this is root 2. Does that make sense? But derivative of root 2x is slightly different. Be careful, they're different. This one you can use chain rule, but actually it's better is to use this. Just use algebra. So then it would be square root 2 times 1/2 times x to the negative 1/2. So it'd be square root 2 over 2 root x like this. So this is one of the question I give out. I think square root 2x is one of them. If you do definition of derivative, you will get this. But and you can rationalize if you want, so you're gonna get the same answer as the other one. So you can take a derivative this way. However, this one's much easier, so it'll be -2 sine of x minus square root 2, then sine of x equal to negative square root 2 over 2. So x is equal to 5 pi over 4 or 7 pi over 4, and that's that. And you can check on decimals. So if you check at those x value, you're gonna have either relative maximum and relative minimum, because it can go up or go down, has slope of 0. Yes, Fiona. You can add a 2m pi, that's an infinite amount of solutions.
2x stuff, the top part where it's like radical 2x over radical 2, and then is that like a 3x over 2?
I have no idea where you point at, so you gotta go up there and point.
Top right.
Can you go up there and point out? I don't know which one.
This part, this part.
Oh, this part, I'm just told you the comparison of taking derivative of 2x. It's same thing as taking derivative of square root 2x. Taking derivative of 2x is 2, because just figure out a slope in front of, number in front of x is your slope. And same thing as a number in front of x, square root 2, that's just gonna be square root 2. Are you talking about this part? Yeah, derivative of square root 2 times x is square root 2. Yes? Shh. I talk about chain rule, you have not learned it, it's not on this test. Because I see people do homework and I can add more stuff on it. If I see people don't do homework, then they have to test more frequently. I don't like test more frequently because I had to grade more tests. But I rather stuff people like get stuff done and then we can move on. We can finish a course early, then we can have a lot more time to prepare. So if I have an option, I always test. I usually test after product rule and quotient rule anyway. But it was like very frustrating to see people don't get it work done. Because I cannot go the speed I need to be.
Only 2 pages, and then it just keeps going.
Oh yeah.
That's nothing yet. You're gonna see word problems soon. All right. Shh. Shh. Let's talk about, yep. Move to Friday. But you also have additional stuff you have to know. Okay, so we are learning product rule. So product rule is, what if you have h of x equal to f of x times g of x? So I'm gonna use two different color code here. So I am gonna use blue, and what's the other color? Purple.
Yeah.
That's same color. Blue, pink. Okay, I'll do pink. Wait, they are same color. How are they different? They are same. Oh, let me pick. Pink is this. Okay, so usually, I want to take a derivative of this, right? And it's the derivative is not f prime x times g prime x. It's not like that. So it's completely different. So a lot of people thought like that on the test, which is not true. You have two things times each other. I just told people to remember an acronym. You can do left d left d right. My plus right d left. Yeah. So it doesn't matter which order, because in this case it's addition. So it doesn't mean says you do right d left plus left d right is wrong. It's actually the same answer. So it doesn't matter which order because you add it. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna call this function the left, right? Left. And this is the function to the right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, okay, let's take this. That's gonna be left, which is the blue. D right, which is g prime of x, plus f prime, no, actually, g of x times f prime of x. Oops, that color is wrong. So imagine that I have an h of x. It looks like this. It will be looks like, I don't know, 3x squared minus 5 and times by 2x minus 1, something like this. So I can take a derivative of this. Now, a lot of you guys are gonna be thinking, it's like, Mr. A, why don't you just do power rule? You gotta expand them and do power rule. Yes, it's true, but today I'm trying to teach you product rule so we can use for something else. So I'm gonna use this example as the easiest because this example you can actually apply product rule fairly easy. So I'm not gonna expand them and do product rule. I'm gonna do I'm not gonna expand them to do power rule. I'm gonna use product rule to take a derivative. So in this case, I'm gonna leave the left function alone. So I'm gonna write down 3x minus 5 alone, and this is h prime of x, and I'm gonna take a derivative of 2x minus 1, which is 2. Is that okay? What?
It's a 3x squared.
It was 3x squared. Okay, so sorry. So that's 3x squared minus 5 times 2. And then I'm gonna add 2x minus 1. So 2x minus 1, and take a derivative of 3x squared minus 5, which is 6x. And that's it. You can distribute this, so that's equal to 6x squared minus 10 plus 12x squared minus 6x. So you can combine, so it'll be 18x squared minus 6x minus 10. So that's a derivative of that. Yes.
G, one of them derivative plus f. You also have like it doesn't matter what order that.
No, it doesn't because it's addition sign. That's why I say it doesn't matter if righty left first as opposed to lefty right.
Thing with
I mean, I don't know what's on the inside. Okay, so let's just assume that if I use power rule, even though you can use power rule, the power rule is just going to be expanded this, so it'll be 6x to the third minus 3x squared, right? Minus 10x plus 5. And if I were to take a derivative of this, it's going to be 18x squared minus 6x minus 10, which is same and it's much easier. Yes, I agree with you 100%. But the thing is, we learn product rule to not only do this kind of question, also do other type of question. So I'm going to show you which other type of question. What if the function looks like this? So it's not possible for me to distribute 3x squared into the sine of x, because it distributed just going to be 3x squared sine of x. The argument cannot change, so it's going to stay as 3x squared sine of x. That means there's a two different function here. I can take a derivative. I can use a product rule. I will use a product rule here. So you guys want to try the product rule?
Yeah. Sin x squared. Yeah. Now you can use some figure
Okay, so it's okay. I write down the 6x in the front because it's very easy student to make mistake combine the x and 6x, which is more scary for me. So I rather put 6x in the front so they don't touch the argument. And that's just me. But yeah, make sure they are in the front rather than make it in the back. That's that. Is that okay? Now sometimes you have to recognize when do you use a product rule and when do you not use product rule, right? So you gotta recognize that. So I'm gonna give you another question. It's very similar, but with the trig functions, and you have to say, okay, this is a point I should use product rule, and this is a point I should not use product rule. So here's the questions. Give me a second. Is h of x is equal to 2x cosine of x minus 2 sine of x. So did you see product rule here? Which part is product rule? The one on the left, you say this one is two functions multiply each other. Is that okay? Now this is a product rule. Good job. Because there are two functions multiply each other. However, this is a constant multiply each other, so this is a constant multiple rule. Constant multiple rule. So then I'm gonna do product rule only for the one on the left. So I'm gonna use whatever order now, just because sometimes I prefer to take a derivative first. Let's do 2 cosine of x. Is that okay? Plus 2x times negative sine of x. Is that okay? And if I take a derivative of negative 2 sine of x, it's gonna be what? What is it? It's going to be negative 2 cosine of x. Because imagine that if you take a derivative of 2x squared, right? Do I just take a constant outside and just focus on the x squared? So it'll be 2 times 2x. Is that okay? And same thing is 2 cosine of x. I just take a negative 2 out and just take a derivative of cosine of x, which is take a derivative of sine of x, which is equal to cosine of x. This 2 will cancel out, so it's going to be 2x negative sine of x. Okay, is this okay? Now I'm going to talk about quotient rule. When do we use quotient rule? Actually, when we shouldn't use quotient rule, that's probably a question to be very emphasized. But right now, we're going to say what is quotient rule first. If you have, let's say, f of x over g of x, when you have something that is a rational function and you want to take a derivative of, rational means they are fractions. Now, the easiest way to memorize this acronym is this. It's like you climbing a mountain. You're on the bottom of a mountain, you climb you up, and then come back down. Okay, so low D high minus high D low over low low. So low low square. So how do I take a derivative of this? You're gonna follow exact same way, except we're gonna call this the high, and this is the low. Is that okay? Low low. Low times low. Okay, so low is gonna be g of x here. Is that okay? Times f prime of x. It has to be in this order. It has to be low d high minus high d low, not high d low minus low d high. So you have to be in the correct order. And you gotta say minus low d high, high d low. Over low low. Which is low in this case is gonna be g of x and square. And you know what people always forget on the test? It's the square. Don't forget. So you're gonna take a derivative of this function. Oh, I want to mention one more thing. I'm so sorry. I did forget mention something. Very, very important. Before you take a derivative, very important. Avoid quotient rule when first bottom is monomial, or we call it one term. The perfect example is 2 square root x plus 1 square over square root x. The bottom is one term. You should not use quotient rule here. I'm going to say that again, and people on the test, they just stick with quotient rule. No. When bottom's one term, you can expand them over square root x, and you can change this to 4x to the 1/2 plus 4 plus 1 x to the negative 1/2. And we can say take a derivative. If I take a derivative of this, is equal to 2x to the negative 1/2 minus 1/2 x to the negative 3 over 2. Does that make sense? When the bottom is one term, you do not use quotient rule because your life is going to be miserable if I ask you to second derivative. Even the first derivative is going to be hard to simplify, so you should avoid the bottom is monomial. The second thing is if a bottom is constant. You should do exactly the same thing. Say x squared plus x minus 1 over 2. Then guess what? Just 1/2 x squared plus 1/2 x minus 1/2. If you take a derivative of this, much easier if you just split them up. Are you okay here? I'm sleeping. If numerator is a constant, you should avoid quotient rule. So let's say 5x minus 2, like this. You should avoid quotient rule as well. But we haven't talked about rule of this. It's going to be chain rule. The numerator is a constant, so numerator is a number. You should avoid quotient rule. So is this one of the criteria? No, because the bottom's binomial. The top is binomial. There's nothing I can do except quotient rule. So we're gonna do quotient rule. You guys did the quotient rule yet? You can expand denominator. How do you expand denominator? X squared plus 1, can you expand it?
Low square. Like,
Oh no, don't expand. Keep it as a factor form. That's a good question. I always just go x squared plus 1 squared. That's easier than saying x to the 4 plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a low. D high. It has to be in this order. High. D low. Over low low. And no, do not expand this. Just leave it as a factor form. Also, you cannot cancel anything as of this moment. Some people say, oh yeah, I can cancel this out. My life is a lot easier, but it's not. It's connected to a minus sign. So y prime equal to 5x squared plus 5 minus 10x squared plus 4x. So it'll be negative 5x squared plus ax plus 5. Did you guys get that? Oh, it's supposed to be 4x. That's 4. Sorry, I just messed with them. My fault.
number after 4x.
Any questions?
For the g of x on the bottom, do you want us to like factor it out and just leave it as like x squared plus 1?
The rule of thumb is always leave it as a factor form. Yep.
Why can't you cancel it? Why can't you cancel the x with 1?
Because you kill a kitten.
Oh, no, I didn't do this. This video is being recorded.
Yeah. I need to turn off too.
-1.